Hello everyone! Today I wanted to share a few things that I've been thinking about on the topic of grieving a pet. As you know, I've lost my dog Vongola about a month ago and it's been really tough. And I've already done a video where I share more practical tips on how to deal with this event, but today it's going to be more of a thoughts and ideas. And I will start by saying that my belief is that human life isn't necessarily superior to all other forms of life. Like, we do give the priority in the society to human life, and it makes sense because it is our species. But what I think is really important is the kind of bonds and connections and relationships that we make with other forms of life, whether they are human or not. That is my belief. And also, I am very aware that dogs aren't people, or like pets, cats aren't people. I do not anthropomorphize pets. I respect them for what they are, for the uniqueness and for the fact that they're different and that they have different needs than us. But this doesn't mean that the relationships that we form with them are less than human relationships. So here's why I think pet-human relationships are so meaningful. First of all, of course, dogs have been bred for hundreds of years to be humans' best friends, so that must have something to do with it. Dogs love us unconditionally. They're always happy to see us. They are delighted to spend time with us, and they don't get mad at us, and if they do, it's only for a short period of time and then they forget. And they do not care about our status. They do not care about how much money we got in the bank, whether we got education or not, whether we are good looking or not. They don't give a damn about that. And they just love us for who we are. And that makes us feel important. Let's admit that. And also it's just a form of love that is very healing and filling. They teach us to appreciate the small things and to appreciate the small gift of daily life. Like even a dog just laying in the sun and soaking in the nice heat, or watching a dog going through a puddle with a big grin on their face. It kind of teaches us to be present and to let go of all the complicated and things about our daily life and to just concentrate on the there and now. They rely on us for food, for their health, for their safety. We are their main caregiver until their death. And I feel like having this kind of responsibility and taking care for something else than yourself then does give your life a certain kind of meaning. And we share just our daily lives with them. They are always there when we need a cuddle. We create routines around their needs. We share our space, and we also have to think about them for our future plans. So whether we want to move abroad or change jobs or move in with a partner and have kids, we always have them in our lives that we need to consider. And I know that I might ruffle a few feathers by saying this, but don't you find that the list that I gave you, like many points are very similar to having a baby? The unconditional love, the fact that they are helpless without you, that they need you, and that they make you see the world with different eyes, like you're rediscovering the world. Those are all points that they have in common, those two kinds of bonds. And again, not the same thing. I'm just saying there are similarities, so it makes sense that we grow this attached to this connection. With the difference that pets never move out, they keep loving you unconditionally, whatever you do, and that they do not know life outside of you. They will never know life outside of what you allow them to see. All is this to say that it makes sense that we get so devastated by the loss of a pet. Like, apart from the fact that they are super goofy and cute and they are a joy to have around, it's just like our whole world is like turned upside down. One thing that I wanted to talk about is how I'm finding that rituals have really helped me, especially with this last loss. And I'm not religious, I'm non-spiritual, I'm very like science, like facts. But I found that with Vongola, I was able to keep his body overnight, and I took him to the cremation center myself, and I was able to see where he would go. And through the evening and the night, I was able to spend time with his body and, lay flowers and light candles and talk to him and stroke him. And obviously I knew he was dead, that I was just dealing with his shell. But it did help to kind of feel like I took care of him really until the end, and I stayed present whilst his physical body was still there. And stories have helped me as well a little bit. Like, I'm reading a book about somebody that's lost their soul dog, and also a lot of people say, you might see again your dog when you die, and I don't believe in it, if I gotta be honest, but it's a nice story to hear. And there's a painting by the painter Steve Anderson that I look at. I have it printed in my house, I have it framed, that I look at when I'm feeling a bit sad, and honestly, it does me good. With my last dog, as soon as I got the ashes, I was able to spread them in the space of 2 weeks. I went for a nice hike and I spread them on top of a mountain, and that felt good at that time. In this occasion, I cannot even bring myself to think about getting rid of his ashes. They are on my bedside table, and they're gonna be there for a while. This is to say, grief might be different for different periods of your life or different losses, and that is fine. On a similar note, keepsakes have been keeping me sane. I put a lot of thought into things that I could do to have physical reminders of him. So I did paw prints and snout prints, and I printed pictures. And also, just a few days after he passed, I ordered a portrait that I'm gonna show you. This is a portrait from a Scottish artist that is just incredible. Don't know how, now you can see it. And just having this, seeing this in the morning makes me, I wouldn't say happy, but less sad. And just having little things around me that remind me of him, make me feel a little bit less alone. And I think that a present like this, a portrait of a nice framed pictures, is also a really touching gift that you can give to somebody that's grieving right now. And they might cry, they might be upset at first, they might, not hang it on the wall straight away, but it is something that they will cherish forever. When I was coming back from the crematorium, I was thinking about how love takes a long time to build, and it starts small, and then with time, with experiences, it kind of grows into a big ball, depending on the relation. And then when you lose that ball comes back on your face at full force, and it just slaps you, and it's really painful. And I think that's a good visualization of what grief is like this, and then it comes back all at once, all those years, all those experiences. And mix that with a sense of powerlessness that you might have felt in the last period of their life, or if it was a sudden death, and guilt. That is a recipe for misery. I really like the phrase, grief is love with nowhere to go. It speaks a lot to me. But staying in the topic of emotions, another thing that I'm really forcing myself to do, which does not come naturally to me at all, is to, when I feel that tightness in my stomach that's telling me I'm sad, I really feel like I'm gonna cry, right now I'm not feeling well, I stop whatever I'm doing and allow myself to cry. I try not to wallow on it and ruminate on it, but I do allow myself a good cry several times a day, whatever you need. And that does make me feel better, because my tendency is to bury it down and to not look at it and to distract myself, but then it punctually comes back to haunt me at 100 times more than it would have been if I dealt with it on the moment. Another thing that it's easier said than done is try not to isolate yourself. You need people around, and choose well the people that you speak to. Not everybody has the sensitivity or like life experience to be empathetic to what you're saying. If you have somebody that you know you can speak to that will not judge you, that is the person that you want to share time with. And if you do not have a person like that in your life, then you can reach out to online forums. There's lots. And also they do, in some cities, you have like grief circles where you can talk about your loss and it might help you process. But yeah, just try and get it out. Do not bottle it in. And also, very important, this is hard, but people around you will not bring this up because they might be afraid that you don't want to talk about it, that they will reopen the wound. They might think that you're over it, especially after a few weeks. So if you feel the need of talking about stuff, you need to be the one bringing it up. Do not expect other people to start the conversation, basically. Something strange that happens every time is that, especially in the first few weeks, whenever I don't think about it, or if I'm having a good time with a friend, having a laugh, then straight away I feel a sense of guilt as soon as I remember. And it's as if the only thing that I should be doing is feeling sad, because if I don't feel sad, then it's like I'm disrespecting the loss that I just had and that I'm forgetting about them and their life. And that is just silly. I don't know why our brain does that, but if I felt it, I'm sure that I am not the only one. So this is just a reminder that we are allowed to get better, to take care of ourselves, to make plans the future. We are still alive, so we got the capacity of healing and loving and doing good in the world, which is what brings me to the last topic, which is not the least important. When I shared on my last video that I lost Vongola, there wasn't that many comments, but there was a few comments saying, I know what you're going through, I went through it, I'm never gonna do it again because it's just too tough. One part of me wants to say, I get it, and it is hard. The other side of me is like, life is made of ups and downs. You're not going to experience the ups if you don't experience the downs. Like, yes, you might feel the loss of what you love, but think about all the good that came from it, all the nice memories. And closing your heart, numbing yourself is not what the world needs. Like, truly, we don't need numbness. There's enough of it going around. We need brave people that are open to do things that eventually they might cause a little bit of pain. Yeah, even with fostering, like, I got the most common comment was people saying, I could never do it because I will get too attached and then it's gonna be so sad when they leave the house, and I would be devastated. And I'd be like, and they say, don't you feel that? Like, I could never do it, what you do, you're too strong. And I'm like, of course I feel sad. Like, of course I got all the feels, all the emotions, all the attachment, love for those dogs, but you just do it anyway because you know that there's a need. And if you don't do it, then who's gonna do it? Everybody's got a part into bettering things up, and if you've got the time, the space, the financial means to do it, then do it, because the world needs it. I just feel like we all need to do something about it, and we are doing something about it actually, because thanks to you, we fundraised quite a nice chunk of money for the shelter that Vongola came from. I spoke about it on the last video, so you can look at that if you like, but it is still open. I'm gonna leave it open until March. And yeah, I just wanted to thank you about this, because I feel in a way, yes, this experience was very painful, very rewarding, because I got to meet Vongola and he was fantastic. He gave me so much, but it was very painful. But at least we were able to raise some money for the dogs that are still there. Thank you so much for listening to this a bit randomly chatty video. I hope it was helpful, and I shall see you very soon.